Hey everyone, today I have a 27-minute total body workout for you. The structure is going to be an interval circuit and we're going to focus on strength. There's no jumping in this one, but don't mistake no jumping for easy. This is definitely challenging, but because there is no jumping, it's quiet, so it's a great one to do if you have downstairs neighbors. We're going to challenge ourselves with the weight today. So you are going to need a medium weight. I'm using a 10-pound dumbbell, and then you're going to need a heavy weight. It could be a dumbbell or a kettlebell, doesn't matter. I'm going to use a 20-pound kettlebell. And if you do have access to more equipment, I always recommend having a drop set on hand so that if these get to be too heavy, you can always switch to a lighter weight. There are 6 exercises in this workout, and we're going to go through them using an interval structure of 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest. When you complete a circuit, you get a full minute to recover. In total, we're going to go through that circuit 4 times. If you're newer to working out or you're short on time, you could opt to stop at the halfway point, just completing 2 circuits. The middle 3 exercises are going to isolate one side of our body, so we'll alternate each time through the circuit. It'll be 3 exercises focusing on right arm, next time through left arm, right, left. As with all workouts, you want to make sure you're properly warmed up beforehand and always listen to your body, modifying or stopping as needed. Before we get going, I'm going to show you a preview of all the exercises. Your way to modify these is to use lighter weight. In some instances, there are also ways you could modify the movement to make it easier, and I will verbally give those modifications as we go through the circuit. If you're new to my channel, I don't play music in the background because I want you to be able to listen to whatever you like. So if you don't have a playlist or a podcast or a TV show queued up, you might want to get that going. And with all that said, let's get to a preview of our exercises. Squat cleans are first up. I'm using a kettlebell, but again, you can totally use a heavy dumbbell for this. If you are using a dumbbell though, just stand it up on the end so it's vertical. You're going to start in a squat position, brought across the collarbone, so don't round through your shoulders and hunch. Grab that weight, drive through those heels as you pull up on that weight, flip your grip and sink down into a squat. Reversing the motion, lightly tapping that weight down to the floor before going into your next rep. So this is a total body exercise. You're using the power of your legs to get that weight up, and you need to engage through your core as you do this. If you're feeling this in your low back in a bad way, I want you to make sure that you are breathing so that you're exhaling when you pull the weight up. The exhale is just going to kind of remind your body connect to your abdominals. And you have 15 seconds to rest. We're going to put the heavy weight away and grab our medium weight. And we have an alternating front lunge with a torso twist. So you'll start with the weight at your chest, and then when you step one foot forward, that's when you're going to extend the weight out to chest height. Twist over whatever leg is forward, okay? So you always twist over that front leg in that direction. Exhale on the twist, come back through center, push off that front leg, step back up. Now, when you're in that lunge doing your torso twist, I want you to think about keeping the hips as parallel to the floor as possible. Your hips are going to want to dip down to the side of your back leg. So think of picking it up a little bit, level off through those hips. and you have 15 seconds to rest. So the next 3 exercises, we are going to focus on the same arm. It's going to be your right arm. So I know that this is my left, but just trust me, it'll make more sense. We're doing your right arm. You're in a lunge position with your left foot forward. You're going to give me a bicep curl, and then as you step forward into a low lunge, you do another bicep curl. So we're staying low on that left side. So right arm is the focus, left leg is also the focus here. Your goal is to stay low. You're moving from a low lunge to a low squat position. That being said, if this gets to be too much, when you come forward into that squat, I want you to stand up for a second and then squat back down and get right back into it. And 15 seconds to rest. Your right arm is still going to be the focus. We're going to switch to our heavy weight though. If you don't want to switch to your heavy weight and you want to stick with your medium, that is totally an option. We're going to do windmills. So you're going to reach that right arm up towards the ceiling. So you're mirroring me right here. And we're going to lower down, left fingertips reach towards the floor, and you come back up. Now your left toes are pointing to the side. Your right toes are still pointing forward. So your feet kind of make a 90-degree angle here. You can have a little bend to your left knee. Your right leg is pretty straight though. So I want you to think Legally Blonde reference here of the bend and snap. As you lower down, pop that hip over to the right, okay? So as you do this, you are going to feel your arm rotating in that shoulder socket. It's helpful to look at the weight as you do this. And 15 seconds to rest. We are going to keep that heavy weight. At any point, if it's too much, though, drop down to your medium one. Keep the weight racked on your right shoulder, and we're going to do a curtsy lunge to a low squat to a squat thrust. So step that left foot behind the right, staying low, come to your squat, and then as you drive up, you're going to do that shoulder press on your right arm. So use the power of your legs to help get that arm overhead. Oh, 15 seconds to rest. Okay, ditch the heavy weight. We are going to use the medium one for the final exercise in this circuit. I want you to picture a med ball slam. It's kind of like that. We're going to start with the weight overhead, and as we squat down, you bring that weight down to about belly button height. You're going to give me a pulse with the arms, and then you stand up, arms come back overhead. Your core engagement is so important on this one. So when you stand up, you shouldn't be dumping into your low back. So picture you're coming to a plank when you stand up. You squeeze the glutes, but you also gently knit those ribs in towards your midline, engaging through the abdominals. Now I want you to make sure your elbows aren't completely locked out, so there's a little unlock of them as you do this. And as you lower that weight down, I want you to notice what's going on with your shoulders. Are they kind of pulling forward? Are you rounding through the upper back? Let's make sure we don't do that. Think about staying broad across your collarbones. So shoulder stability here. Okay, you have a full 60 seconds to rest. We're going to go through that circuit 3 more times. This second round, the only change is when we get to those middle 3 exercises, it'll be your left arm that's the focus instead of the right. Also, a heads up, when I was filming this workout, I messed up, and so I had to film a bunch of things the following day. So you're going to notice pickles like appearing and then reappearing in different locations around the room because of my editing. Okay, we start at the top with those squat cleans. Feet are about shoulder widths apart. Weight is between those toes. You're going to squat down, grab that weight. Drive through your heels, straighten the legs, come up to stand, flip your grip, squat down, drive back up, return it. So you're returning the weight to the floor with control. So you either lightly place it down on the floor or just tap it to the floor for a second. Now your goal is to move continuously through the 45 seconds. So while this is a strength-focused circuit, your heart rate will absolutely get up, especially on this one. If you notice form slipping though, I want you to slow it down, okay? Maybe pause with that weight on the floor in a low squat for a breath or two and then get back into it. 15 seconds to rest, put the heavy weight away. We're going to use our medium weight for the next one. It'll be those alternating lunges with the torso twists. And remember, you twist over to the side of whatever leg is in front. Step forward, reach that weight out to chest height. Exhale as you twist, come back through center, step back. Man, my bun is so high, it's almost on my forehead. This might be a new record for a high bun for me. Twist back through center, drive off that front heel, come back up. "15 seconds to rest." So these next three exercises, we're going to isolate our left arm. So stick with the medium weight. If you want to go with the heavy one and you have a heavy dumbbell, absolutely go for it. We're going to start in a lunge. Your right foot is forward, okay? Right foot forward, weight in your left hand, one bicep curl, and then step forward with that back leg into a low squat as you do your next curl. So this is a kind of a quick movement. You sort of find a rhythm to it. But as always, if form starts to go out the window, I need you to slow it down. Check in with that front right foot. Make sure the knee is staying pretty much stacked over the heel. So you should be able to see your right toes the whole time. The knee is not eclipsing them. With your torso, you have a hinge forward. So notice my shoulders are kind of stacked over that front knee throughout the whole exercise. I'm not straight up and down. And rest. We're going to come into windmills next. I'm switching to my heavy weight. If that is too much, stick with your medium. So weight is going to be in your left hand. Your left toes point forward. Angle your right toes out kind of at that 90-degree angle. Weight is overhead as you lower down. You can kind of slide that right hand down your leg and then come back up. So this is an obliques exercise, but we're also working on shoulder stability here. Remember, kind of pop that hip to the left as you slide down. You can bend through your right knee as needed. We're staying pretty straight through that left leg though. You don't need to lock the knee. All right, you have 15 seconds to rest. We're going to keep that weight in our left hand. We have that curtsy to a low squat thrust. So rack that weight on your left shoulder. Your left foot's going to stay planted. Step your right foot back. You're in a low curtsy. You step to a center squat, and then you drive up. So you need to use the strength and power of your legs to get that weight overhead, especially if you're still using that heavy weight. Exhale as you stand up, engaging through the abdominals. So this one is what I was talking about. Pickles is miraculously on the couch. And rest. Okay, we have just one more exercise in this round of the circuit. Ditch your heavy weight. We're going to use the medium one. If the medium one gets to be too much, go even lighter, or you can even do body weight for this last one, okay? So it's kind of like a med ball slam, but we're not bringing that weight to the floor. You just kind of bring it down a little below chest height, pause at the bottom, pulse with the arms, and up. So we're really challenging our scapula stability here. When that weight comes forward, your shoulders are going to want to round forward. Don't let them, okay? So we're using the muscles of our back to keep our chest open and broad. Awesome job, rest. Okay, you have a full 60 seconds to recover. We are officially at the halfway point of this circuit. We're going to go through that whole thing again. If you are short on time or newer to working out, maybe this is where you stop for the day. And if you just need more time to recover before doing the second half, you can always pause the video, take a couple minutes instead of the 60 seconds. Round 3, let's do this. Squat cleans coming up. If squat cleans aren't working for you, a great modification is to just do a goblet squat. So you would just hold the weight at your chest and just give me regular squats, okay? Now I want you to check in with your knees. Make sure that they're not buckling to the inside of your big toes. So they should be pointing in the direction of your middle to outer toes. So you're engaging through the glutes and those abductors to keep the knees tracking in the proper direction. "15 seconds to rest. Let's put the heavy weight away. Grab that medium one. We got our front lunge with that alternating torso twist. Twisting in the direction of the leg that is in front of you. Now, if this one is getting to be too much, especially for the upper body, try it just keeping the weight in at your chest. You would still do the torso twist, but if the weight is close to your center of gravity, it's going to be easier, and of course, a lot easier, especially for the arms. Another option for this one, you could do a back lunge instead of stepping into the front lunge. The front lunge is a little harder to get back out of, so stepping back instead is a nice way to tone it down a notch. You have 15 seconds to rest. So we have those bicep curls coming up next. Weight is in your right hand. Your left foot starts forward in your split lunge position. Hinge forward with your torso. You do one curl in the lunge, and then you curl as you step forward into a squat. So right arm is the focus. Left leg is also getting a good challenge on this one. If it gets to be too much, to hold low on that left side. Again, when you come forward into the squat, stand up for a second and then squat back down and continue. So while this is a quicker one, and yes, I want your heart rate to get up, I don't want you going so fast that you're using momentum to just sort of swing the weight forward and back. So make these bicep curls really intentional. Rest. Windmill's coming up next. I'm switching to the heavy weight. If that is too much, if you feel form getting sloppy, I want you to stick with your medium weight for this one, okay? Another option, if it's too much for your shoulder, hold the medium weight in your bottom arm instead. So feet are making that kind of 90-degree angle. You can slide the left hand down the inside of your leg for guidance. Pop that right hip to the side as you lower down. Gaze is up at your weight. That is going to help you keep the weight stacked over your shoulder as the arm rotates in that shoulder socket. And rest. So we're going to keep that heavy weight, or drop to the medium if you need to modify. It is racked on our right shoulder, and we're going to do that curtsy lunge, so the left foot will step behind the right. Curtsy, come to your low squat, thrust, drive that weight up overhead. Got to keep that abdominal connection, so as you stand up and thrust overhead, I want you exhaling, and I want you to think of bracing through the abdominals, gentle lift through the pelvic floor. If this is getting to be too much for your arm, I want you to just keep the weight racked on your shoulder, okay? Don't thrust it up towards the ceiling. And rest, ditch the heavy weight. Okay, one more exercise to get through, and then your third set of this circuit will be done. We have those squat slams with that pulse at the bottom. So start with arms overhead, bracing through the core. Weight in the heels as you drive your hips back, sinking into your low squat, swinging the weight down, stop at about belly button height, give me a pulse, and then drive it back up overhead. If this is too much, you can ditch the weight, just do it body weight. Or you can always hold the weight at your chest and maybe just give me a squat with a squat pulse at the bottom. Final few seconds. Woo, put the weight down. You have 60 seconds to recover. We just got to go through that circuit one final time. Let's get ready for those squat cleans. Last time through these exercises. When I first planned this workout, I didn't have minute-long rest after each set. I just had you going 45, 15 the whole time. And then I started doing it myself. And I was like, what, am I crazy? So hope you enjoyed that minute. Now let's get ready to go. Squat cleans coming up. Last time, 45 seconds. Now let's check in because we're starting to get fatigued at this point. Notice, how are you initiating that upward movement? It's not a pull of your arms that starts that clean, okay? It's the driving of your legs. So drive your heels into the floor, squeeze your seat as you thrust the hips forward. That movement helps you get the weight up. "15 seconds rest, put the heavy weight away. Let's grab our medium weight. Front lunge, torso twist coming up. 45 seconds, let's go. So all the modifications that I've been verbally telling you, especially through that previous round, take them at any point you'd like, okay? You can always dial down the intensity. And in fact, it's better to do that. It's better to take a slightly easier version and keep your form good than to keep with a heavier weight and get sloppy. and rest. We have that bicep curl coming up. Weight is going to be in your left hand. Your right foot will step forward into that split lunge position. Level off your hips. Hinge forward with the torso, one curl in the lunge, and then curl as you step that foot forward into your squat, and then step it right back into that low lunge. So you can't really pause in the squat, or that weight is going to come down and your thigh is going to be in the way. So we make it quick. Make sure that curl is controlled so you're not just swinging the weight forward and back. And rest. Okay, 3 exercises down, 3 exercises to go, and then you are done with this workout. Let's switch to the heavy weight if you're still using it. We got windmills. Weight is in your left hand. Left toes point forward, angle your right toes out to the side. Pop the hip to the left as you slide the right hand down the inside of your leg towards your shoe, and then come up to the top. Now, as you come back up to the top, I want you to do that on an exhale. So you're going to exhale, think of knitting the ribs gently in towards your midline, obliques working here to bring yourself back upright. "15 seconds to rest." Keep that heavy weight in your left hand. You're going to rack it on your shoulder. Left foot is going to stay planted, so you're mirroring me as we go into our curtsy. Right foot steps back. You're in a low curtsy. You come to your low squat. You drive through the legs, thrust that weight up overhead. Similar to those squat cleans, I want you to think of starting the upward motion of the weight, not with your arm, but with your legs. So you're powerfully driving out of that squat. Hips come forward, abs in tight. That allows the weight to drive up overhead. 15 seconds to rest, and just like that, we are on our last exercise, okay? So final 45 seconds of your workout coming up. Switch to your medium weight. We have those squat slams with the pulse at the bottom. Broad across your collarbones. Hips slide back into your low squat as the weight comes down and forward. Stop the momentum that the weight builds. Pulse up and down with control, and then bring it up overhead. Now, I want you to notice when the weight is coming up overhead, are you puffing out through your rib cage? You don't want to do that, okay? So you're going to think of gently drawing the navel towards the spine, or a better cue would be to just think of gently drawing your ribs in towards your midline. Final few seconds, stick with me, you're almost there. Woo, and done with your workout. Awesome job. Hope you enjoyed that workout. If you did, you know the drill. Give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I post new workouts here every Monday, but this week doing things a little different, and I have a video for you every day, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss one.